three things. Number one, the ladder match. Look, you guys know my ladder match rants by now. You know what they sound like. So I'm not going to repeat myself again. Instead, I'm just going to ask a question. Why would you give away a ladder match on free TV just 3 days before you want fans to pay money to see an Ultimate X? Especially when, all things considered, the ladder match may actually end up being better than the Ultimate X will. Not that I'm crapping on Doug Williams and Brian Kendrick at all, but neither of them are high flyers. The match has a stupid submission stipulation attached to it, and Doug Williams is now afraid of heights, which, if anything, is going to hinder an Ultimate X, not enhance it. And since Jeremy Buck got the win over Doug Williams in this match, then if he's not getting the next title shot, then he should be added to the Ultimate X. And I would be screaming for that to happen if I wasn't pretty sure that Generation Me were going to be AJ and Kazarian's opponents at Victory Road. Number two, the first ever match between Rob Van Dam and Samoa Joe on free TV with no hype or build-up whatsoever. This is a match that could headline Bound for Glory, and you threw it out there like it was just any other match. And I thought it was hilarious that the announcers were saying how the ratings were going to go through the roof for this thing, because this match, while probably a ratings draw in and of itself, would certainly have drawn a lot more eyeballs to the screen if the writers had actually bothered to hype it up like the big deal it was. Now, as it is, most fans probably didn't even know the match was happening. And why? Because you never told them it was happening. You didn't announce it the week before. You didn't promote it at all. Why should fans think this match is important when the way you present the match tells them it's not? The match was great, and you did give it a lot of time for an Impact match. I'll give you that much at least. But no way in hell should this have happened on free TV with no build-up when lots of people would have paid money to see it. By the most basic and rudimentary booking logic, that is fucking stupid. Number three, the Jesse Neal Love Fest. Now, in terms of hyping up their pay-per-view match, the segment was perfectly fine. I mean, it went on too long, but that's not the real problem. I know I've asked this question a lot on here and on other places, but no one has been able to give me an answer, which is troubling because I think this is a very pertinent question. Why Jesse Neal? Out of all the amazing young talent TNA has, why is Jesse Neal, of all people, getting singled out and receiving all this attention? I really want to know this. Don't get me wrong, I respect him for defending our country. But this isn't the Navy, this is pro wrestling. And as a pro wrestler, what about this guy is so fucking special? He's okay on the mic, but he doesn't have a ton of charisma or personality or anything like that. He's competent in the ring, but it's not like he's the best worker TNA has, or even one of the better workers they have. Not even close. I mean, he's pretty green still. He doesn't seem to be hugely talented in any particular area, and yet the writers, as well as Team 3D, have been bending over backwards to turn this guy into something, putting in all this effort, devoting all this screen time to him that, by all rights, should be going to other young stars that are better in the ring, better on the mic, more over and more marketable than he is, and I don't understand why. Why are they using Jesse Neal so much when they could be using guys like Amazing Red or Generation Me or someone like that? I don't get it. I mean, I feel like I'm in a movie theater surrounded by like hundreds of screaming idiots wearing their Team Edward, Team Jacob shirts, and I'm just sitting there looking at the screen. I'm like, why? Why am I here? You know, is it me? Am I just way off base here? What is Jesse Neal, the new Eric Young? I mean, the guy who gets pushed over and over again and you're always scratching your head wondering what they see in him? I don't know. But as I said, the segment itself was fine. If you care about Jesse Neal at all, you probably liked it. So, I guess I can't really criticize this too much. At least there wasn't anything stupid about it. And you could say that about the whole show, actually. I mean, there was a surprising lack of stupid stuff on this show, just like there has been for the last month. And I'm guessing that probably has a lot to do with Tommy Dreamer reportedly being on the creative team now. which I guess means that I have to amend the stuff I said about him earlier. I don't care to see the man wrestling anymore. That hasn't changed. But as a booker, I think he could have a lot to contribute. I mean, if we can't get Paul Heyman, then Tommy Dreamer would almost certainly be the next best thing if they're looking for someone to rein in Vince Russo's stupider ideas. And if the last month of TV is any indication, I think he's doing a pretty good job if that is what's going on here. Because really, if you disregard the general stupidity of giving away Rob Van Dam versus Samoa Joe for free with no build-up and having a ladder match on free TV 3 days before you want people to pay to see an Ultimate X, if you disregard the stupidity of doing those two things and just judge the show on its own merits, this was a really good Impact. Solid pay-per-view hype, nothing really stupid, some great wrestling, and all the matches got at least decent time except for the Knockouts match. And I guess I should discuss that for a minute because one of my subscribers asked me why I don't talk about the Knockouts much lately. I guess the reason for that is I just don't have much to say right now. I mean, a lot of the best knockout workers and characters are gone. The whole division revolves around Angelina and the Beautiful People, the 3 worst women in the company. I mean, all the other women have become jobbers. I mean, they hardly ever get on Impact anymore, and if they do, they're just there to put over the Beautiful People. Knockout division is boring right now, and I don't like saying that, but it's the truth. I mean, you got Madison Rayne as the champion, who still has not gotten over unless Velvet and Lacey are standing next to her, and for 3 months in a row now, she has inexplicably convinced her challenger to put their career on the line for no reason at all when they have everything to lose and nothing to gain by doing this, which doesn't make Madison look like a great heel so much as it just makes the babyface knockouts all look like dumbasses. Except for Angelina, who was ready with a stipulation of her own, which, I mean, if that wasn't the most blatant setup for Velvet and or Lacey turning on Madison at the pay-per-view, I'll be really surprised. But anyway, despite the hiccups, I did really enjoy Impact this week. The show has really changed for the better. It's changed for the better lately. It has. I mean, and I love all the wrestling we got. I mean, AJ and Kazarian was great. Joe and Van Dam was great. The 6-man tag was really good. Yeah, those first 2 matches should have been saved for pay-per-view, but at least they got good time, so they didn't feel like throwaways, and they were smart enough not to have AJ and Kazarian end in a finish. I mean, they went to a count-out. That was better than having one guy get pinned, so they're saving that at least for a later date. This was a good show. I mean, they should have done more to hype up the Ultimate X, granted, but this was a good show. Now, am I going to order Victory Road? No. After the mediocre Slammiversary, I think TNA needs to earn back my goodwill before I spend money on one of their pay-per-views again. And if Victory Road turns out good, I'll think about it. And that's the thing, though. I may need to think about it, because I agree with Bill and Doug about the direction TNA's been going in. I mean, the TV has been better recently, but really for the last couple of years, I don't know what's happened. I mean, they were doing one thing, the fans loved it, people were happy with it, and it got TNA to a certain point, but once they reached that point, they went off in a completely different direction. And I don't understand that. I mean, if what you were doing was working, why would you completely change what got you to the dance so you could do something completely different? I don't know.
A change is coming. And the results will be different. They will be very, very different.